Why does Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's combat system suck, and how can we abuse it to become quite overpowered and completely trivialize it so it stops being annoying? That's what the purpose of this video is going to be. We're going to be going over both of these concepts mashed together because I decided that I wanted to annoy both sides of people who click this video for either side and just want to not see the other side, but now are forced to do that. The people who like me talking about video game concepts and going over that stuff, you guys will be very happy with this video. So why does Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's combat system suck? Well, the answer, like everything in life, comes down to Todd Howard. That's true. The reason the combat system in this game sucks is Todd Howard. I will actually defend this, okay? See, back in 2000 and 2001, we're going to pretend Daggerfall doesn't exist. Back in that time, there were turn-based RPGs. Now, in a turn-based RPG, you have a chance to hit an enemy. Based on their block, dodge, the skill of your weapon, all that stuff, you have a chance for your attack to hit an enemy. If you miss, you miss. Tough luck. Now, when you go real time in Morrowind, they kept that chance to hit. You swing at an enemy in real time, it connects with them, you hit them, but it doesn't hit because you missed. You swing again, it doesn't do any damage because you missed. Very frustrating. A lot of people get annoyed by that. Now, how could we fix a system like that? That's what Kingdom Come Deliverance asks. Now, don't just take my word for it. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's designers here say, I'm more of a Morrowind person, says Bittner. Now, he did say this in response to Oblivion. He incorrectly stated that he was more of a Morrowind person. That's actually untrue. Everyone prefers Oblivion. Oblivion is a superior game, and therefore everyone would actually prefer Oblivion. But he does go on to say, adding that, most of our designers are in their mid-30s, like 30s to 40s, so these games had a huge impact on us. Just so anyone young doesn't really get my references right now, don't worry, this will happen to you too, 20 years from now. At any rate, Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 fix the Morrowind problem. You still have a chance to hit, but when your attack doesn't hit, the enemy just blocks it in real time. You didn't notice that, did you? You didn't notice that because you never read your abilities, did you? That's right. If we read through Warfare here, it says, the higher your Warfare skill, the faster your attacks will be, and the harder it will be for opponents to read your intentions and parry your attacks. Your weapons will also take less damage during combat. Swords reads, the higher your swordsmanship skill, the faster your attacks will be. The more damage they do, the harder it will be for your opponents to block them. Now, one says parry, one says block. Personal opinion, I think that's just a translation issue. It seems to be the exact same thing. How do I know that? Because particularly if we look through Precise Strike, it says your sword fighting skill will be 3 higher. So your attacks will not only be stronger, but will be harder to parry. So they're saying that your sword fighting skill will make your attacks harder to parry. In Swords, it says harder to block. In Warfare, it says harder to parry. I think they're the same thing. At either rate, we can see this in real time. I've gone with a build here that is, well, I mean, it's not like a build, it's just a bunch of perks. I've gone with a bunch of perks here that just maximize the amount of stamina I have and, what is it? I basically maximize the amount of stamina I have, the attack speed I have, and my skill in swords and all that. And because of that, these enemies, I'm not actually like super high leveled for this part. I chose this part because there's a lot of enemies in a row, and I promise you, I'm really not supposed to be doing this section. This is supposed to be a stealth section. There's literally no point at which later on that anyone will acknowledge I actually just killed anyone here. They will continue to talk about these enemies as if they are alive because I don't think even the developers realized you could just do what I'm doing here and kind of get a little bit too far in this section and just immediately chew through all the guards. It's kind of supposed to be hard, a big deal, etc., etc. So how am I doing this? What's going on? What's happening here? My skill, you can see here already, my skills in combat have gone up. I've gone from 24 swords all the way to 30. Okay, that's not entirely true. I went from 24, leveled it up to 25, now I'm at 30. Now, let's explain what I do here. One-handed swords are probably the most broken weapon in the game. Long swords are a bit stronger earlier on, and long swords are good for leveling up your strength and agility because your strength and agility will level up based on the requirements of the weapon. Because long swords have a high strength and agility requirement, they're pretty good for leveling up your strength and agility. One-handed swords will have 10, 17, just as this weapon's example, and they'll level up your agility more than your strength. Both stats are very important, but it's just something to know. One-handed swords are generally the fastest attacking weapons in the game. Now, there are a couple perks here that go a bit crazy. We've seen right in front of you, you've seen that if you have a good amount of warfare and swords, that enemies will stop really blocking your attacks that much, okay? And I was just spam attacking, if you're wondering where I got hit earlier. I'm obviously just doing this live, so I'm trying to not, you know, screw anything up like that. So if we look through here on swords, we can see a couple things that I've done. Now, one is probably the most important, gladiator. If you fight with only a one-handed sword weapon and keep your other hand free except for a torch, you gain a +5 bonus on your fighting skill. That means by default, just by having my weapon out and having a torch here real quick, that's weird, I can't. Can I not pull out a torch in combat? I guess not. Just by doing that, you can see that my fighting skill is so high that my opponents are really having issues being able to block. Because remember, their ability to block is based on their hit chance. They're not really blocking. I'm just not hitting my attack. Will you stop hitting me in the back? My God, that's another thing to really kind of be important here. Because one-handed swords are also really fast attacking, then having a high amount of sword skill, as you can see here, makes it hard for enemies to even counterattack quick enough before I'm getting in and hitting them. These two right here, like I'm promising you guys, these two right here already make your character kind of outrageously strong. But other than that, of course, you might have noticed that I could keep attacking forever and ever and ever. You guys are probably thinking to yourself, how do you keep attacking? How do you keep doing that? So there's a couple things in here. One, Master Strike, I'll get into that in a second. We have Opening Strike and Opening Strike 2. Okay, if you successfully wound an opponent by a strike to an uncovered zone, example, in a zone your opponent isn't blocking from, it will be more difficult for the opponent to block subsequent attacks. Basically, if I hit an opponent once, my next attacks can keep hitting them. It's pretty easy to combo them down. Gladiator, which I've mentioned, +5 bonus to your sword fighting skill. Absolute insanity. Probably makes one-handed swords, I should say, straight up the strongest weapon in the game. We got Tendon Slicer. Each successful sword combo significantly reduces your opponent's agility and strength. That one's okay. Basically, it just makes their attacks a bit slower and a bit jankier. Makes it so that if you spam combo, and I just spam left, right, left, right, or right, left. I just spam that. You don't have to be fancy with it. If you do that, your opponents will be debuffed. It's pretty easy. Which is the important one. And then we go Magister Dimicator. When you perform a combo, you gain +5 to your swordsmanship skill, making subsequent attacks easier to perform and more powerful. This attack lasts for 30 seconds. Yes, that's right. We can get an absolute outrageous amount of sword skill. I'm pretty sure I'm actually overcapped here. If I actually look here. Here, let's can I land a combo on you, or are you just gonna die too quickly? Yeah, I'm trying to not actually kill you, but no. I think there's actually a cap on your sword skill somewhere around 30. I'm not entirely sure about that one, if you can actually go beyond 30. But at any rate, this does mean that you don't need this high of sword skill, okay? And this is kind of important. Okay, so with these and just having some warfare and just having some stuff with that, we also want anything that gives stamina or stamina regeneration. Now, stamina and stamina regeneration, those are mostly going to come from warfare and from, you guessed it, agility. Because agility has something in here that is nasty. In warfare, of course, we go with all this stuff over here. Against all odds. When fighting against superior numbers, you gain +2 bonus on strength, agility, and warfare. You guys have probably gone with that one. This, of course, when we're outnumbered, we get more warfare, making our attacks harder to block. We get agility, which gives us more attack speed, and strength, which gives us a little bit more damage. Hardened veteran gives us, stamina regeneration. Hardened veteran 2 gives us more stamina regeneration. When we're outnumbered, we deal more damage, but it's not that important. If you're outnumbered, you gain stamina 20% faster. And of course, the one I was mentioning earlier, where is it? Oh, it's one of these. Showtime? There we go. After performing a sword combo or a master strike, you instantly regain some of your stamina and can attack again. Now, we have reduced our stamina costs so ludicrously high through things like, I'm not going to go through every little bit in the game, but if we look through, where is it? Dominant hand here. If you use a one-handed weapon without a shield, attacks will cost 20% less stamina. We've reduced the stamina cost and increased our stamina regeneration so much, and increased our maximum stamina to such a ludicrous degree by getting so many bonuses to our vitality, which I'm not going to go into, but again, it's just a good idea to go, that when we recover stamina, we can just sort of continue to attack. Even when outnumbered in ludicrous situations like that, 10 to 1, our plate armor generally keeps us alive good enough, and we don't really need to worry, and then we can just continuously spam attack through enemies, and it's just really easy. It's just really good to go. So then you might be wondering to yourself, how do you get Master Strike? How do you get your skill this high? Well, it's actually really easy. Just as a brief interlude before I get into the next part, if you're in the second map and you can't get back to the first map and you don't know what to do, go to the left of Sudge Toll, and there's going to be a caravan right here. What you're going to do here is go talk to the coachman.
Good day to you.
What the coachman will do will let you get transport back to the Trotsky region. Just, that's important to note.
Wait a moment.
I'm just saying that because some of you guys don't know that.
We can go.
And boy,
Let's get going.
yeah, you can go back to the other map. Now, if you want to learn the Master Strike, you're going to have to go to Master Tomcat. It's late at night, so he's leaving, but he normally hangs out right around here on this section of the map. What is a Master Strike? Well, he'll tell you what it is, so I don't really need to explain it that much. If your opponent attacks left and you attack right afterwards, you'll instantly counter their attack and deal damage to them, which is quite useful because then you just get to deal free damage to people, which I think people generally enjoy doing free damage. And then, of course, when we have Showtime in Master Strike, we get free stamina back because, well, we just do that, so the perk does, right? And then that allows us to get a shitload of stamina and just continuously to attack spam. Now, how do we get our swordfare skill up? How do we get our warfare skill up? Well, we just fight. That's it. We just fight, and the more you fight, the more you do. You can find bandits. It's generally, I'm going to say 3 different ways to level it. I mean, it's an RPG fundamentally. It's like you level your skill by using it. I mean, grand concept right there. The more you use swords, the more you use well, the more you fight with swords, the more you're gonna level your swords. I mean, that's literally it. And then the more you do that, I mean, the less people are gonna block you. You get it? Like it makes sense, right? Like the more you start to think about it like that, the more you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this entire system kind of makes sense to me. That's kind of one of the reasons it sucks. Is because early on, every enemy is just going to block you over and over and over and over, and it's just not going to be any fun. I mean, so many people come to me and they tell me the combat system sucks. It does suck. When you're low level, it sucks. When you're mid level, it sucks. When you're high level, it's way too easy, and then it still kind of sucks. But generally what I'd speak, if you're kind of not really enjoying it, then go to some of these bandit camps here. You can see them around the map over here. There's a hunter's camp, there's an enemy camp. These will respawn every couple of days. I don't exactly know the timer, but you can go over here. I think Wandering Drunk doesn't respond. So here you can see enemy camp, poacher's camp. Go here, just beat the crap out of bandits. Go along the road when you're traveling. You can see here along the road, you'll probably find some bandits that way. Just pick fights with them, beat the crap out of them. You'll level up very easily. You can also, if you go to skill trainers, do you see here on the map, there's skill trainers. A lot of these skill trainers like this, well, I shouldn't say a lot of them. Some of them will teach you sword skills. I would very much recommend. Put that early game money into swords. You can, of course, also find some books that teach you sword skills. You can Google that, but I believe, don't quote me on this if I'm wrong. Don't come back to my video and hate on me, but if I'm wrong. But in the bailiff's house up here, you can actually find a guy who sells books. I believe one of them is the book on sword skill, which can be quite useful. And then once you get your sword skill up, once you get your warfare up, you can generally bully the crap out of the bandits. And there doesn't seem to be any diminishing returns for leveling up your abilities. And you can see I started leveling up my unarmed and my heavy weapons and my pole arms because my swords was good enough. I was just beating the crap out of everybody, right? But there doesn't seem to be any diminishing returns. There's just higher and higher costs to go to the next level, right? So you can see here to next level 710. That's level 22 to go to the next level 500. So you're going to need more and more skill to go through them, but you get a lot of skill by fighting. So if all you do is pick fights with bandits, if all you do is go to the bandit camps and beat up a couple of them, you'll get 2, 3, 4 skills in swords and warfare pretty easily, at which point you'll pretty much chew through every enemy in the first map pretty easily. By the time you get to the second map, you might have a little bit of difficulty for a little bit. You might struggle with humans for a little bit. but you'll eventually, you know, kind of bulldoze through those ones as well. So I would recommend just it is an RPG, you know, level up your stats, level up your attack stats. You'll be blocked significantly less. The entire game will make more sense to you, and you'll have a lot more fun. And before I wrap up this video and end it, I do remind you, it's always Todd Howard's fault. It's Todd's fault. He did this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. Thank you all. And as always, have a great rest of your day.